Holy crap, we just got an absolutely massive news dump coming from Jason Schreier on his Blue Sky page. Breaking: Warner Brothers Games is shutting down Monolith Productions, Player First Games, and WB San Diego, sources tell Bloomberg News. Warner Brothers is also canceling the Wonder Woman game. I am doing this video literally less than a minute before this news dropped, and I am in disbelief. We already know that WB Games is in dire straits. We've talked about that ad nauseum over the last year. Suicide Squad, Multiverses, so on and so forth. Those games were an absolute disaster, a money pit. Millions upon millions of dollars have been lost, and the games industry in totality is going through a correction right now. I don't think anybody would argue otherwise. We just did a video earlier today talking about Striking Distance Studios and the Callisto Protocol, that game's commercial failure. And that studio now, not shutting down yet, but they did just do a wave of layoffs. And now Warner Brother Games is shutting down Monolith Productions. Think about that for a second. Monolith Productions is the studio that brought you guys the Shadow of Mordor games, or Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor, and Shadow of War, I should say. Imagine dropping games of that caliber and then ultimately being shut down as well. That is Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War, and they've been working on a brand new title as well. And now the Wonder Woman game has been canceled as well. WB San Diego shut down on top of that. This is just absolutely massive as far as this level of closure. I don't remember the last time we saw these many notable studios being shut down just like this, but you know, we've seen stuff like this, like PlayStation's doing a lot of cancellations, shutting down studios. We are going to a course correction, and I'm sure that people will paint this in a number of different ways, but the reality is a lot of these studios were shifted into doing live service titles, and ultimately you saw how that turned out with Suicide Squad. And I think a lot of games were being greenlit on the standpoint that, bro, we're taking DC characters, Suicide Squad, and we're putting it into a live service game. Obviously, this is gonna pop off. Concord, look at all these amazing characters that we've created. We've got the PlayStation backing. It's a PlayStation published title. They are almost never going to fail. I think that at this point, a lot of these studios and publishers, I should say, a lot of these publishers are, you know, facing a harsh reality check that just because you guys have Suicide Squad doesn't mean y'all are just gonna snap your finger and drop an incredibly successful live service game. And I wonder what the course with the Wonder Woman game is. I would have to think that there was some sort of monetization aspect to that game. I just can't believe Warner Brothers doing something and not having that implemented. The only game recently that I was honestly a little bit surprised by it not going full on with the monetization was Hogwarts Legacy, and I would have to believe that Hogwarts Legacy 2, that's at least something that's been bandied about. Maybe they aren't going to go down that route because of everything that's been going on, and, you know, it's probably more beneficial for you to drop a high-quality single-player game and not go down the route of Suicide Squad. Now we do see Rocksteady's not being shut down yet. They're shifting to doing a Batman game. We'll see if that sees the light of day. A lot of these games, when I hear, oh, X Studio is working on this game, there's this IP getting a video game adaptation, I'm always like, man, let's see if these games come out. I get that there's a Black Panther game in development, there's an Iron Man game in development by EA. Yeah, I get it that it's incredibly enticing to look at some of these IPs and be like, man, if we do a big budget video game on it, we could be printing money. Then you go see it how a Star Wars Outlaws does. You're taking Star Wars and you're dropping that into an open world. It's not just a snap your finger immediate success. Everybody's running out to buy that $130 Ultimate Edition. That's not happening. That's not the reality, and I feel like a lot of these publishers are facing that reality because no longer are we living in a world where you can just take these popular IPs, they target a casual audience, and that casual audience is just gonna buy these games up in droves. The reality is a lot of people are on the internet, and when we talk about, oh, it's just a vocal minority bugging out about these people, like, no, it's a lot of people that were criticizing Ubisoft. It's a lot of people that were criticizing Warner Brothers, and people were criticizing Suicide Squad well before that game came out. I uploaded videos talking about Suicide Squad and my skepticism of that game well before that game dropped, and I'm not no rocket scientist here. There's a lot of people that had their skepticisms with that game, and multiverses as well. The game development in totality, after coming off of 2020, everything going on there, budgets ballooning in size, I think we gotta learn the hard way when it comes to these, with a lot of these games. I think we're gonna have to go and take a lot of L's. And what have I been saying in so many videos? I over and over again said, we gotta learn this the hard way. We gotta release these games, or we gotta pour so much money into some of these games that they ultimately get canceled. You look at Concord, you look at a lot of these other games coming out, it's just like, bro, who is greenlighting these games? I understand why, but at the same time, it's just, look at these character designs, look at Suicide Squad. Did you really think that this was the way to go? Sony, you got all of these incredible multiplayer IPs and all of these IPs. I get it that live service is so spicy, monetizing these games are so spicy, but ultimately, what happens when nobody is playing those games? What happens when Suicide Squad is 95% off a year after release and it's down to $3? That literally happened. Suicide Squad was $3.50. What are we doing here? This is Rocksteady, you guys. Batman Arkham 2009, 2011, 2015. Think about, for that stretch, Rocksteady was absolutely beloved, and you could tell me that they are a shell of their former selves. It's a skeleton crew. It's not the Rocksteady of old. They did Batman Arkham. And how do we get to a point, a decade later, no new games, you get Suicide Squad, and it's a disaster, and you see Rocksteady's still around, but Monolith Productions, Mordor, Shadow of War, two beloved games, 3-year turnaround time, you guys, for the release. Mordor came out in 2014, Shadow of War came out in 2017. Let's spend 8 billion years working on some game, cancel it, shut down the studio. What is going on? What alternate reality am I living in? How do things get in this disarray? And I have to imagine, all I can do is speculate, but you would have to think that a lot of these people sitting down, greenlighting certain games, they are so out of touch with reality. And like I said, it's just and I've said this in previous videos, it's like when we talk about Concord and that game being this incredible IP, which it clearly, that was the thought process with that game. They thought they were cooking with gas. It's just, you sat down, you looked at these characters, and you were thinking, people are gonna get emotionally invested into these characters. They can relate to these characters. Let's greenlight the secret level episode already. We have our Anakin, you guys. We found our Anakin. This is our Luke Skywalker. That's what they thought. Obviously, maybe a little bit of hyperbole thrown in there, but man, it's just a wild, wild situation as far as this level of closures, I think, is insanity. We'll see how all of this transpires, and I think there's still more to come. And, you know, a lot of what I've been saying, like, I don't want to pat myself on the back here. Again, this is another, we gotta learn the hard way when it comes to this. And, you know, you chase those bags, you think you know your audience when you really don't. But that'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. What a wild story to cover, and I'm sure more information is gonna come out, but that'll do it for me. Let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.